All right, players. So I decided to start a new series. I'm gonna call it Basics with Lou, and it's gonna cover a lot of basics within recording, within playing guitar, within drum tuning, basically anything basic regarding the music world. I want to use these videos as a little tool, as an extra resource for some of my private students so they can have access to it. But anyone that comes across these videos and sees it on the internet, they're more than welcome to come and check it out. All right, so let's get into it. So today we're going to talk about setting up your first session in Pro Tools. A lot of people might be a little overwhelmed about, you know, what file type do I select, or what bit depth and all this, or sample rates and all that stuff. So we're going to kind of cover a little bit of the basic stuff right here. So let's open up this window. So as soon as you start Pro Tools, you have this create. I'm gonna put my G glasses on very quick. But as soon as you create a session, you'll have this little dashboard. I'm in a Windows PC right now, but it's pretty much the same thing for a Mac, and it's gonna prompt you with how you want to name your session. So this one, we're gonna call it. I like to name my sessions all in caps, but that's just a personal preference, up to you. But it's very important to stay organized and remember how you name your sessions. So we're gonna call it video test session. All right. So we got that. So then I like to work in WAV files, bit depth. I tend to work in 24-bit. One thing you need to account for is that both bit depth and sample rate, the higher you go, yes, the better quality you have, but also your files are going to be heavier. So it's always a compromise. Now, a lot of people argue, and I'm not going to get into that discussion, if, you know, higher sample, we can hear the difference in sample rates or not. I'm going to stay away from that topic. So I normally work between 44.1 and 48. A lot of the stuff I do in my studio, I can collaborate with other people from other studios too. So a lot of people tend to work in 44.1 or their stuff like that. Another reason I work in 44.1 or 48 is because I have external preamps and I have them connected to my interface and converters through ADAT. So I can get full 8 channels of these preamps through ADAT by working on those sample rates. The minute I go to 88.2 or 96, it will drop down to 4. And the minute I go to even a higher one, it will drop down to 2. So you want to choose to do interleaved, fancy name for stereo, okay? And I/O settings, we can get into that later. I have, you know, mine set up here for my interface and my studio. But then you always want to choose a location too. I record everything to an external hard drive. I'll show you right here. And it goes straight to this Pro Tools Sessions folder where I keep everything somewhat organized, right? So let's go ahead and let's start it. Create. And we got ourselves a little session here. So normally I have it configured so my click track shows up at the beginning of each session that I have. I can show you guys how to do that later, but we want to get started right into this, okay? So one thing you want to make sure, maybe even before creating the session, but you can always do it after, is in your setup that you have selected the correct, let me pull it back up, working on another screen here. So you have selected the right playback engine, and that's your interface, right? I have a couple here. You know, you have the Windows audio device. Antelope is my interface of choice right now, and some other virtual things that I got going on. Then your buffer size. I can't change it right now because I'm recording video, but your buffer size, the lower it is, the less latency you'll have. The higher your sample buffer size is, the more latency you'll have, but you have more resources for plugins. So the short answer to what buffer size you should be using is higher buffer size when mixing, lower buffer size when recording. That's kind of what I go for. So we hit OK. Everything's cool here. So once we have our session set up, we want to create some tracks, right? So we got to create tracks. Shortcut for that is in Max Command Shift N and Windows Control Shift N. So we're going to do that. Let me pull this up because again it goes down to my bottom screen here in the studio. So I have my new tracks here. I tend to use all key shortcuts, but you can do this with the mouse, of course. So let's say for this instance, we're gonna create, we're gonna do 2 guitar tracks, a bass track, a vocal track, okay? And then we're gonna create an instrument track for a drum virtual instrument, okay? So we're gonna create, let's see, 4 mono audio tracks. And I'm gonna hit again Command Shift N for Mac and Control Shift N for Windows. And I'm gonna create a stereo instrument track. All right, and might as well, let's create a master. Here we go. So we got our tools to start here. Now I like to always name my tracks. So we're gonna call this one Guitar Left. If you wanna go to the next track, sorry, this is not showing up. Here we go. If you wanna go to the next track without having to click on it, you can press Command Enter or Control Enter on Windows, and it will go automatically to the next track. So I'm gonna do that. That's my guitar right. I'm gonna go Command Enter and go to my bass, Command Enter and go to my vocals. If I can spell. And Command Enter and go to my drums. Alrighty. So here you go. Now you have a session pretty much established. You can have more tracks, you can have less tracks, you can do whatever you want to do. Now the next step we want to make sure that we have in the ballpark is to select the input that you're going to be using to record to that track. So for this guitar in this case, let's say I've renamed all my I/O here. Let's say I want to use the first preamp in my audio. Well, I'll select the first preamp and I'll have something recorded. Okay, I'll mute that because I can't really hear what's going on there, but that's probably coming from my mic that I'm recording with right now. Alrighty, so let's say I wanted to record guitar right with one of the art preamps that I got. Go to 1, arm record, then you would hit 3 to record, and you'd be recording. Alrighty. Alright. So that's a basic setup, how to set up your session in Pro Tools. Hopefully this is helpful. If you're a new viewer, leave a comment, like the video, hit that subscribe button. It would be awesome. Gonna be doing a lot more content like this, so stay tuned. We're gonna try to keep the weekly videos going on again. So let me know what you think. If you're interested in this content, we'll put out some more, and looking forward to hearing from y'all. All right, take care. Thanks for watching. Peace.